Hello, it's Amy Rofail with the Friday Red Alert December 11th report with the Jerusalem Connection. BDS is alive and well in academia, to the point at which teachers are violating their sacred practices and traditions and principles that they've had for millennia. Recently, a British American Israeli student emailed a former Cambridge professor, a horse expert, with an academic research question for a paper she was writing. Now, this professor, happens to be a Jewish woman, is a supporter of the BDS movement and refused to answer the 13-year-old's query and standed by her decision to snub the child's academic query with the fact that she didn't want to boost the 13-year-old's ego or make her feel good about herself. And that's a quote. I have been in the teaching profession since I was in college, and to this day, there is no amount of disagreement that I might have about a particular topic or religion or political issue in my belief system where that would prevent me from imparting my knowledge about a certain topic to any student, adult or child, who asks about it and wants to legitimately discuss it. Any quality educator will tell you that regardless of any child or student's ethnic background, the situation from their parents or what they believe, would ever prevent them from imparting knowledge and sharing information about the discipline that they teach. Dr. Levin, in this case, is an equestrian expert, and this Israeli child queried her about horse issues for her report. This was not a political query, it was not a philosophical query, and yet this professor would not answer the child. Dr. Levin's response was dripping with disdain for this child based purely on the circumstances of her birth. NGOs, Christian, Jewish, and secular, every day help children regardless of their origin, ethnic, religion, or otherwise, in the Middle East and in other places around the world. There's no litmus test that a teacher should put on any child to impart knowledge. In fact, in the nation of Israel, Israeli tax funds are used to support schools that are particular to a certain religion, including Druze and madrasa. But this one Jewish professor, whose political leanings are so anti-Israel, she cannot even answer a child's inquiry about her topic of expertise, which happens to be horses. And she wouldn't do it because of the child's origin. If one were to swap out this same scenario, take out the Jewish girl and put any other ethnicity or religion, where a professor said, I'm not going to answer that child's question, I don't want her to feel good about herself because she's Muslim and her background includes terrorism, or because she's black, or because of any other reason, this would make national news, and headlines across the Western Hemisphere would be how horrible this teacher is. Not only that, I'm sure lawsuits would be filed as a result. But somehow, it's okay for a professor to refuse to answer a child's question and name it because of her origin. Proudly, I might say. What we need to remember is this idea of tolerance that the West and academia seems to espouse, that the media espouses. It's not about agreeing to disagree and to discuss topics and debate and exchange ideas. Tolerance to the left, including the BDS movement, is simply to shut down anyone that disagrees with them. And people who disagree with them must remain silent and somehow oppressed, I would dare say. Matthew 18:6 comes to my mind when I read this story about this little girl. But who shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me? It would be better for him that a millstone was hanged about his neck and that he were drowned in the depths of the sea. Now, the context here in this verse of Matthew is not completely parallel with this child going to a teacher with a question. But the search for truth and the natural curiosity of children is something that's God-given and should never be quelled. And I do believe that God would frown upon anyone quelling a child's query because of some political agenda. Educators in the BDS movement who lack the academic integrity will have to account for their actions. You can't dismiss a student just because they come from a place you don't agree with. That's bad teaching. Shavua Tov. Have a great week. Shabbat Shalom.